Thank you, everyone. OK, hands up who's been to a previous workshop, just to get a feel for the room. OK, hands up who's here for the first ever time. OK, put your hand up if you've been to a workshop again. And then keep your hand up if you've been to 2 workshops. OK, of the people who've got their hands up, does someone want to volunteer why they've come to one of my previous workshops? Daniel? Do you want to grab the mic down here for Daniel?
First of all, you teach different stuff every time. And we see that your business is just quite a few steps ahead of what we try to do. So we just come here, take whatever we can and put it in our own business, and it makes us money every time. So I would be foolish not to be here.
Cool, thank you very much. I appreciate
that. And meeting other guys, it's great to see the same people come again, and we build relationships out of that and joint ventures. So definitely a great place to be.
Cool, thank you. Dean, would you mind just sharing, just for a couple of moments, what you learned from the second workshop and any kind of results you might have achieved from that? I know you're looking a bit worse for wear there at the back of the room.
Yeah, well, basically, I went away and actually I've started my own continuity and my own funnel and everything, following on from what you taught last time. It's now within, just a space of a couple of months doing like 5 figures online, following, literally swiping what you taught and just making it my own.
So what's been the best month so far of the continuity program you built at the last workshop? What's been the best month in terms of revenue that you've enjoyed as a result of what you learned at the last workshop?
Just last month, the second month, it's growing month by month, so it's like 13,500.
13,500.
Yeah.
Cool. OK, thank you, Dean. I appreciate that. So the last workshop, we taught about profit maximisation. And one of the strategies that I focused on for just one session was how to build a continuity program that could really dramatically increase the profits in your business. And we focused on that for just one session. And because I know that so many people who attended that workshop achieved tremendous and dramatic results as a result of that one session, I decided to dedicate 8 sessions to how to set up a continuity program. And during the next 2 days, we're going to cover 8 steps. And each session is going to be a different step. So we're going to start off by really getting an understanding of what continuity is, why it's important for your business, and how you can quickly and easily implement it in your business for dramatic and substantial results. And then as we go through the workshop, we're going to continue by looking at the different constituent components. So we're going to look at how you need to set up your selling system really fast. A lot of people in this room have seen my different continuity offers, and we've had more than 10 over the last 2 years. And what a lot of people don't know is that the sales videos that we use in our business probably take me less than 2 hours to create. In fact, when we did our recent point-and-click coaching launch, we built a $100,000 per month business that will gross more than $1.5 million this year on current trends, and the sales video for that continuity program took less than 2 hours. Less than 2 hours, and that's not hype. In fact, me and James, who's at the back of the room, James is my affiliate manager, we actually went for some drinks one day in Jesmond in Newcastle, and James will tell you this story, and we were talking about our current continuity program, and we were having a few beers, and we were having a good laugh, and we sat down and thought, what if we created a new continuity program that catered to a different segment of our audience? And James works our support desk, or used to work our support desk all the time, and now not as much. So I sat down and I said to James, James, on the basis of the conversations that you have on the support desk, on the basis of those conversations, what kind of continuity program do you think we should create? And me and James hammered it out. We got a notepad out, we got a pen and paper, we brainstormed it, and we came up with a plan. And we executed that plan. About 2 weeks later, we sat down, and within 5 days, we had point-and-click coaching created, and we generated more than 1,000 members paying $97 a month. Now, hands up who thinks that's the kind of stuff they want to learn about this weekend. OK. Now, I should say that's on top of our current continuity program, the Gold program, which was also generating us $100,000 per month. Just to give you a little bit of an insight into the kind of mindset I have in my business before I go back to the topic area. Last night, we became aware that we were going to have a microphone problem this morning, and we knew there was going to be a massive issue. We knew we weren't going to have a proper mic. We knew they were running late. We knew that we'd made a mistake, basically, and we hold our hands up as a company we'd made a mistake. But rather than looking at that as this massive problem and getting in a huge panic, what did we do? We just thought, what can we do to fix the problem? How can we overcome that hurdle? And that's a really good lesson, because when we run our continuity program, we have all kinds of problems that you can't imagine. Hands up who've heard about the recent crackdown from PowerPay in particular in terms of the Visa MasterCard. Yeah, us too. And one of the things you'll learn during this workshop is that we actually got placed on a 100% reserve for 4 weeks. Now, just put it into context, when you consider that our reserve topped $210,000 at one point about a fortnight ago, hands up who thinks that's going to be a quite stressful situation. We had nearly $250,000 in reserve with PowerPay. That's a lot of money. Bearing in mind we're paying our affiliates $30,000 every month as well. So that really tested our reserves in our bank. It was a massive problem, but we overcame it, and we had the mindset that no matter what the problem was, we were going to overcome it, we were going to work really hard to do that. James will tell you the story about when we first launched our first continuity program, and we're trying to get our first merchant account. It took us weeks and weeks. Hands up who's ever had a problem trying to get a merchant account. Painful experience, especially if you're in the UK. What most people would do is just think, God, you know what, that's just too hard. I can't be bothered with that. It's just too much of an obstacle, and they'll quit. And the kind of problems we've had organising this workshop have been very, very similar. We've had all kinds of problems that you can't even imagine, but we look at them as opportunities to overcome. So we were talking about continuity programs and how it had a massive and dramatic impact on my business. And me and James sat down in a pub one day and we brainstormed this new point-and-click coaching program. And I said to James, look, what kind of program should we create for our customers? And he told me, he said, look, the most common question on the help desk is how to set up your website, how to register a domain, how to set up your autoresponder. And we realized that our current continuity program, our current gold program, didn't really cater for those needs. So on the back of that conversation, we brainstormed a new continuity program, and then bang, we implemented it really quick. And from start to finish, we had this whole launch organized in 5 days and then executed as well. Now, it wasn't a perfect launch by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, we didn't even contact our best affiliates to promote it for us, which obviously isn't ideal. There are affiliates in this room who I know would have promoted it if I'd contacted them, but we never did. We literally just created this program, we got it out there in the wide world, we then integrated our marketing and developed some evergreen traffic strategies, and very soon we had 1,000 active members paying us $97 a month. Now, hands up who'd like to learn about those kind of strategies. Okay, excellent. What I want to do now on the screen is just show you some of the results from implementing continuity in our business. So you can see when I first started lee-mcintyre.com, August 2007, we were kind of generating initially about $7,000 to $8,000 in monthly revenues. Pretty quickly, we kind of got to about $20,000 in that kind of ballpark. And then around about March 2009, we introduced our latest continuity program, or what was our latest continuity program, called the Gold Program. Can anyone see a dramatic and sudden increase in our business revenues around about that time? That was September 2009. Can anyone tell me why do you think I introduced another continuity program in November 2009? If anyone just want to shout it out, we don't need the mic, just shout it out. Why would I have done that?
Because you're already getting something going, so use the momentum of it.
I was already getting something going, I could use the momentum. And look at the dramatic and substantial results we had when we introduced continuity in our business in September. It was dramatic. So we introduced another continuity program. Hands up if you think our revenues went up as a result of the second continuity program. Hands up if you think they went down. Hands up if you think we might want to introduce another continuity program in the next few months. Hands up if you think we might want to introduce 3 or 4 in different markets by the end of this year. Absolutely. What I've learned over the last 2 years is that selling information products is by far and away the best way to make money online. But if your focus in terms of making money online is selling ebooks for $27 on ClickBank and that's it, then really you're very limited in terms of the upward potential you can achieve with your business. The big breakthrough for me was when I realized that selling $27 ebooks on ClickBank is a really good way to make a part-time income, maybe make a full-time income, maybe make a few $1,000s a month. But the massive and substantial breakthrough that I experienced was when I really understood that implementing continuity into my business could triple, quadruple, and multiply my income by a factor of 10 comfortably. And when I started understanding concepts like front end of my business and back end of my business, and when we started more aggressively selling back end items and continuity programs, our business skyrocketed and we never looked back. And that's really what I want to share with you during this workshop. So here's what you can expect. During the 2 days, we're going to have 8 sessions, and each session will be a step. And during this first session, all I want to try and achieve is for you to understand the power of continuity and why you should implement it in your business. And then we're going to go through it sequentially. We're going to look at what you need to do first. How do you need to, what is it you do first? Then we're going to look at what you do second, and so on and so on. I'm going to show you how we create sales videos in 2 hours or less, and that's not hype. Hands up who saw my recent 497 offer, my coaching call offer this week that I sent out to my list. Hands up who saw that? Does anyone want to shout out how long they thought it took me to make that sales video? 14 minutes. The video was 14 minutes. It took 25 minutes to make the PowerPoint, no joke. It was one take, made the video, click save, upload, write the email, and then my team sorted the rest out. I'm going to show you how you can make sales videos like that. The point and click launch, which has put 1,000 people into the continuity program, we've got a 15-part prospect autoresponder sequence. How long do you think it took me to write that? Any ideas? 2 months?
1.5.
Couple of years?
No, an hour and a half.
Hour and a half? Probably about 2.5 hours to write that sequence. Not joking. How many people here think we've been pretty prolific with our product development? Put your hand up. Put your hand up if you think we have a lot of products. Yeah, and you can see them all at the desk, and if you speak to James, I'm sure you can buy some as well. We make a lot of products, and we work fast. And I really want to get that across to you during this workshop. So this session, I want just you to understand the importance of continuity and why you really need it. And then I'm going to show you how you can implement it fast. And that's the thing. If you've got this kind of crazy mindset where you think to yourself, do you know what? I really want to succeed online, and I'm going to spend a year writing my ebook, and then I'm going to spend 6 months writing my sales page, then leave. Because you're wasting your time and you're wasting my time. But if you've got the mindset where you're prepared to do things really, really fast and achieve tremendous results, then stay, listen, and take action. Hands up if you agree with that. Everything we do in our business is so quick. Me and James had a great time. We ordered a bacon double cheeseburger. We had 2 pints of lager, maybe 3, and then some. And we mapped out this program and we implemented it like that. And that's really what I want you guys to be able to do. Let me just tell you about my timeline so you can understand where I've come from, because I'm aware that most people in the room know who I am, but not everybody. About July 2002, I finished university in Newcastle, in this city. I did a law degree. And what do you think my family wanted me to do with my life? Any ideas? They wanted me to be a lawyer. I think they were disappointed when I went and worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car instead. Very much. My first day, I washed cars. It was fantastic. Anyone guess what I did on my second day? I washed cars. I had a law degree and I washed cars. I had to ring up my granddad and say, Granddad, I know you're really proud that I did a law degree, but today I washed cars. Has anyone ever had that kind of experience? Not good. About August 2002, I decided that washing cars wasn't the career move I wanted. So I started to become an accountant. And I remember lying in bed at night with a careers book thinking, what am I going to do in my life? And I'm not joking. I flicked through this book and I was looking at all these different career options. I was like, doctor, nah. Lawyer, definitely not. You know, whatever, consultant, blah, blah, blah. And I flicked on accountant. I thought, that's interesting. So I read about it. I thought, you know, I'm going to be an accountant. Not joking. Opened up my laptop, applied for a job via an agency. They rang me back the next morning, arranged an interview same day. I drove from Newcastle to Crewe same day, had an interview, started the next day. How many people think that that was a considered and thoughtful career choice? How many people think that I didn't end up being an accountant? So I drove down, I moved to Chester and commuted to Crewe. It was a great lifestyle. I got the train every morning from Chester to Crewe. It was fantastic. The train broke down every day. I was late every day. My boss said, unless I got to work on time, I would be fired. And I said, I can't because the train just doesn't come on time. He said, I don't care. He swore at me. So I bought a car. It was a Fiesta, a V-Reg Fiesta. Who's seen a picture of my V-Reg Fiesta in one of my videos? So I bought a Fiesta, about £800, and I drove to work. It lasted 3 months. During that 3-month spell, I nearly got fired about 8 times. I nearly quit twice. I went into the office and said, I'm leaving unless you give me a pay rise, and they said goodbye, and that was that. I left there December 2002, and in fact I started there December 2002, and then June 2003, I moved to another company as a trainee accountant again, because I had it figured out, guys. It was totally figured out. It was in the bag. Accountancy was for me, yeah, but actually it was just that place was crap, and I needed to go somewhere else, so I did. I went to work for a company called Tetra Pak in Manchester who make the cartons as a trainee accountant. Can anyone guess how long did I stay there for? 3 months? About 3 months, 4 months. They tried to fire me a few times. I tried to quit a few times, and we eventually went our separate ways. And then went and worked for another accountancy company because it's okay. Because I was born to be an accountant, but actually, that place was no good. I moved to the new accountancy company. Can anyone guess how long it stayed there for? 2 months, about 2, 3, 4 months, something like that. Every time I moved job, I felt massively self-satisfied. I thought, yeah, I've made it. I remember speaking to my girlfriend at the time saying, I'm so lucky, I found a career that I love, I feel passionate about. And after about a week, I was bored and I was fed up and I changed jobs again. Now, hands up who's had that kind of experience in their life. When I speak to a lot of the people I work with online who are successful marketers, they tell me similar stories. They tell me that they were an entrepreneur and they went from one job to another job, to another job, to another job, and they could never make any of it work. Maybe they were good at some of them, or maybe they got fired, but really they just didn't like working for other people. Hands up who just feels like they just don't like working for other people. I'm glad none of my staff at the back put their hand up. That would be a problem. I just didn't want to work for other people. I decided that wasn't for me, and I was changing jobs all the time. Eventually, I decided to train to be a teacher. I quit my job as an accountant. I had 140,000 mortgage. I quit my job as a trainee accountant to go and apply for a PGC training course with no guarantee of getting on that course. I got on the course. They paid me a £6,000 bursary, not very much. I managed to pay my mortgage, eat tins of beans, and that was that. I trained to be a teacher, and I loved it. But I didn't like the politics involved. I didn't like all the paperwork involved, and I didn't like a lot of it. And that's where I met Mark, our MC. We were good friends on our course. And I decided it wasn't for me. And I had a massive row with my boss. She came in one day, and we went at it, and then I decided, look, this isn't for me. I want to start something different. On the back of that row, I felt the lowest I've ever felt in my professional career. I was at rock bottom. I was at rock bottom. I can't really emphasize enough. I was fed up. I was frustrated. I was working so hard. I felt I was the best teacher in the department. But she wanted me to do all this extra paperwork, and I didn't want to. I didn't see the point. Hands up who's ever felt like that. We had a massive argument, and as a result of that, I started my eBay business. And my eBay business was selling teaching resources on the internet. And I was selling them for like £1, £2 at a time, making some really good pocket money. I did that for about a year. Figured out some stuff in our marketplace. And by the way, in our marketplace selling teaching resources, nobody had ever heard of digital delivery. Hands up here who knows what digital delivery means when you deliver a product digitally online. In that marketplace, nobody had. When we started delivering products digitally, people thought we were like wizards. They're like, oh, how can we compete with these guys? They've got all this technology at their fingertips. When we started using autoresponders, people were like, wow, it's like magic. And we did that for a while, and we started lee-mcintyre.com in July 2007. And you can see the results, and you can see the revenue. But the real key breakthrough for us was setting up a continuity program. Let me just tell you a little bit about some of the thoughts that went through my head before I set up a continuity program. It's very important. I kind of emphasize this too. I thought in my head that continuity programs were bad. I thought in my head that aggressive selling was bad. I had the mindset that really selling really hard was something that I didn't want to do. And then when I had those kind of limiting beliefs, I used to make about $15,000 to $20,000 a month. When I actually sat down and thought about how I could use a continuity program to deliver tremendous value, and I got my mind around the concept of selling, and how I started to feel that if I was selling something of value and giving people stuff of value, then there was absolutely nothing wrong with selling. And when I started understanding that it was okay to do that aggressively and ethically, then my revenue skyrocketed. So there's going to be some things I'm going to talk to you about today in terms of continuity programs that you might immediately recoil back against. You might have the mindset where you might think, well, that's okay, but I don't really want to run a continuity program. And you might feel like that because maybe some other people in marketplaces have run continuity programs unethically. Hands up who kind of buys that some people do that. Hands up who see people who hide the small print, don't disclose the charges, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we've all seen that. But that doesn't mean that having a continuity program needs to be like that. I can tell you now that Terry Dean is somebody who I admire, and I've paid him for coaching in the past, and he runs a continuity program, and I actually spoke to him about this issue. And I said, would running a continuity program be unethical? And he said, no. Only if you do it unethically and you deliver it unethically. And I agree. So as long as you're giving tremendous value and the customer knows about what's happening, then continuity programs should be the cornerstone of your business. And that's something that I've really learned over the last 2 years. So if you're sat there today and you're thinking, I'm not really sure, I'm kind of uneasy about it, then don't worry. Because my job during the next 2 days is to educate you that, number one, continuity programs will give you the breakthrough your business needs today. And then number two, there's absolutely nothing wrong with selling your products and services aggressively. As long as the customer knows exactly what they're getting and they believe they're getting more value than the money they're giving you. Do you kind of buy that? Look, if I've got a DVD course at the back of the room called the Internet Automation Plan, and it's $997 on sale, if I said to you today, I really wholeheartedly believe in the value of that course, and put it into context, when I produced that course, I stayed up night after night after night, giving my best information, giving everything I could. And I've given that course to people, and they've made tremendous amounts of money. Tremendous amounts of money. Should I feel bad selling that to somebody for $997, knowing that if they take action, they could make more money as a result? Can everybody buy that? If you give people value, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking more money from them in return. Can people buy that? Put their hand up if they kind of agree with that. It's an even exchange. It's giving value. And that's really what I want people to think about. When you run your continuity program, as long as you're completely ethical and honest and upfront with your billing, then there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. And during these 2 sessions, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. Now, one of the things I really want to address, because a lot of people were talking to me about this last night, is the recent kind of changes that PowerPay have introduced to continuity programs and some of the Visa, MasterCard regulations as well. A lot of people were mentioning this on the board. How many people are aware of this? Okay, so let me give you a bit of an oversight before we go into what we're going to talk about today. A bit of an oversight. A couple of weeks ago, PowerPay, who is one of the acquiring banks in the US, so they're a merchant bank, they process credit cards, they issued guidance, PowerPay guidance that said, look, if you're running certain kinds of business practices, then that's to be discouraged, and you're not going to be allowed to do it anymore. Has anyone seen the document that PowerPay issued? If you raise your hand. Okay, and they clamped down on a lot of internet marketers. A lot of people had their accounts closed. Some people had their accounts frozen. We were placed on 100% reserve until we made some changes. And a lot of people panicked in the marketplace and said that these changes were going to dramatically and substantially change the way the industry operates. Did anyone see any of the posts by some of the gurus out there and some other people where they was like really scaremongering? Okay. I've spoken to a lot of people on the inside of PowerPay. I've spoken to a lot of people who I respect greatly. And it's not a game changer at all. And I've got to be careful what I talk about because I don't want to get people into trouble. I don't want to accuse people of being sensationalists, but it's not a game changer. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer, PowerPay was sat on by Visa, MasterCard, and they were hit hard in the sense that they had a lot of accounts where the chargebacks were too high and they were being too unethical with the marketing. And Visa, MasterCard went to PowerPay and said, look, we don't like the chargeback percentage you've got, we don't like the percentage of complaints to the Better Business Bureau, and as a result, we are going to close you down, you're going to lose your acquiring status unless you clean up your act. And PowerPay reacted immediately by closing down some massive internet marketers and freezing some accounts. Can anyone put the hand up if they've been given guidance and clarification from PayPal regarding continuity billing? Has anyone received an email? No, maybe one. From ClickBank regarding continuity billing? ClickBank are an acquiring bank for Visa, MasterCard. Has anyone received any clarification? Put your hand up. Has anyone received clarification from any other merchant banks you might have? No. So really what happened was PowerPay were facing tremendous pressure from Visa, MasterCard, and they issued this guidance, and a lot of people took it as official regulation from Visa, MasterCard. And what Visa, MasterCard were basically saying to PowerPay is, look, you can only process credit cards if you're being completely upfront and clear and transparent. Is that going to make sense? But because PowerPay had a lot of accounts that weren't doing that, they were placed under tremendous pressure. We have merchant accounts with different providers, and we never received any kind of clarification. So my advice to you today, and I'm not a lawyer, although I did a law degree, my advice to you today is this. You can still run continuity programs. You can still run trial offers. Nothing has changed except the thing you should have been doing from day one, which is making sure that your offer was open, honest, ethical, and transparent. And as long as it is honest, open, ethical, and transparent, then you will not have a problem, or you shouldn't have a problem, if you're using the right merchant bank. But what basically happened with PowerPay is, look, a lot of people were using the free DVD offer as an example, and they weren't using it honestly. So then PowerPay came down, and they were in a panic, and they said, look, and this is not official advice, this is my opinion, and they said, look, everyone using a free DVD offer, you've got to stop now. But you can still use a free DVD offer, and there are millions of people, not millions, there are thousands of people out there who are still doing that, but you've got to be honest, you've got to be ethical. Has anyone seen those vlogs, those fake blogs where they sell supplements? Yeah? Does anyone think the charges on there are very clear? No. You take a free DVD or a free supplement, and then they bill you for life, and they don't even tell you about it, apart from in the small print. And also in the small print, they say things like, the testimonials on this page are false. The stories on this page are false. This page is false. Oh, by the way, P.S., you're going to be charged $49.97 for the rest of your life, thanks. And you can't cancel. A lot of people were being far too aggressive with the continuity programs. They had auto-page bumps. So when you were buying a continuity program, they had a tick box where you could tick that and you go into another continuity program. How many people have seen those before? Yeah? And why do you think people did that? Because it led to an increase in revenue. But it also led to an increase in chargebacks and complaints. And a lot of people were doing that with PowerPay as their bank, and that caused problems. What a lot of people were also doing, and I've seen other marketers teach this, is you were buying a product and there was an auto-page tick box for another continuity program. How many people have seen that yet? But they were making sure that when you ticked that box, the continuity program that you subscribed to was actually with a different company a lot of the time. with a different descriptor on your credit card. So let's talk about Jeff. Jeff comes to my site, he ticks a box, so he comes and gets a free DVD, and he goes into the $97 continuity. And then there's a tick box where if he ticks that box, he goes into a $47 continuity. We've all seen offers like that. Or maybe a $4.97, a really low amount. But they make that tick box with a different company, a different descriptor. So now Jeff comes and says, cancel my continuity. So the support desk cancels the $97 continuity, and what happens to the tick box continuity? It keeps going, and it's billed for a different company. A lot of people did that. A lot of people also had upsells with continuity in there, which was poorly disclosed. In fact, there's a lot of marketers, particularly in the supplement industry, where they would do a free supplement offer, they'd bury the continuity in the terms, they'd have an order page tick box for another continuity of another company, so now you have to file 2 support requests to get cancelled, and then they have a series of free upsells, and if you tick those boxes, you go into another free series of continuity with another 3 companies, and now to cancel, you need to submit 5 support tickets, and you don't know what the hell is going on. Has anyone seen offers like that? Put your hand up. Crazy. So I could stand here today and I could give you all these continuity strategies that would allow you to be really, really unethical and really, really aggressive, because we've all seen it, and make a lot more money. But what I prefer to do is show you how you can create value that your subscribers want in exchange for monthly revenue that they're fully aware of. And I can show you how to optimize that process so that you make as much money as we do, but while doing it so ethically that you can sleep at night. And so ethically that your customers will like you. Hands up who wants to learn about that kind of stuff. Now keep in mind, I need to tell you about this. There are going to be people who complain when you run a continuity program. And we're actually going to devote step 7 to building strategies to deal with those complaints. Because no matter how upfront you are, and no matter how honest you are, some people are going to complain. Do you kind of buy that? Absolutely. And Dean's nodding his head because I know Dean's had that kind of problem. No matter how upfront you are, you're going to get those complaints. And in one of these sessions, we're actually going to talk about strategies to deal with that. And in fact, the first strategy is just to adjust your mindset and to develop a thick skin. But it's something you're going to have to be prepared for. How many people here would feel comfortable developing a continuity offer that made them $100,000 per month and changed their life forever, that was so honest and ethical that you showed it to your merchant provider and they agreed and they said, yes, the disclosure is fantastic? How many people would feel comfortable doing that? Put your hand up. Keep your hand up if you'd still feel comfortable if you knew that you were going to get a percentage of complaints from people who said they didn't know they were going to be charged and they called you a scammer, even though you look at it and you say, man alive, how can they not know? Are they blind? Put your hand up if you'd still feel comfortable. Because listen, this is a conversation you're going to have with yourself. Because if you run a continuity program, I'm telling you right now, if you want to make $100,000 per month with a continuity program, even if you put it in big, bold letters that you're going to be charged in 14 days, even if you come round to their house and tattoo it on their head, even if you send them a parcel in the post with a gold ceramic date to put on the fridge for their bill date, even if they name their newborn child after the date 14 days later, even then, some people are going to say, scam. You scammed me, Jeff. Again. And you'll go back to them and say, look, you signed up on this website, you ticked this box, you signed the papers, you faxed it across to us, we had a court appearance where you swore in front of a judge, you knew you were going to be charged in 14 days. You know, your mum came down, your dad came down, we had a party, we discussed it as a group. And they'd say, nah, you scammed me. Has anyone had that kind of experience who sells products? Daniel, Dean, a few other people, Robert. Yeah. And then you'll be like, God, you know what? When me and James did the point-and-click program, we were loving it. We were a bit smug with ourselves, actually, a bit self-satisfied. We were like having a beer, we were like, come on. We are on the ball. High five. And we made the program, we made all this great content, we're dead happy with it. All these testimonials came in. Hundreds of them. Lee, I love it. Lee, it's the best thing ever. Lee, we never want to cancel. By the way, we're going to focus heavily on point-and-click coaching this weekend because people love it. People love it. People know they're being billed and they love it. And we were getting all these testimonials. Then one day, we read something came up in Google Alerts from some person calling us a scam. Of all those hundreds of positive testimonials, which post do you think we focused on? Which post do you think really bothered me when I went to bed at night? This person called us a scam. They called Infusionsoft a scam. They said, They said they knew we were a scam because we were using known scam company Infusionsoft. Now when people search for my name, that comes up because I'm using Infusionsoft. And it gets worse. I was using a tracking link, a known scam tactic. Not as true. And I'd hidden my domain name. I'd used Domain Guard, another known scam tactic. And finally, this was like the icing on the cake, the nail in the coffin. On my sales page, I'd used big red letters, a known scam tactic. James had a support ticket the same day from the same customer saying, I can't figure out how to submit a support ticket and cancel. And that was in the support ticket. So what I'm saying to you is, if you're going to do $100,000 per month, even if you make them name their firstborn child after the date of their build date, how many people accept you're going to get some people complain? Absolutely. So you have to have a conversation with yourself today where you say, look, am I prepared? Do I feel comfortable making $100,000 per month? Do I feel comfortable making loads of people happy? Do I feel comfortable giving all this value? Do I feel comfortable with all of that, even if one person accuses you of being a scam, when you know that you're not? Are you comfortable with that? Some people aren't. That's why I'm mentioning it. And when we look at step 7 in the continuity program, we're going to look at developing your mindset, and then we're going to look at strategies. We have some really effective strategies in step 7 that will help you. It'll give you peace of mind, it'll help you. One of them is having Google Alerts set up so you can manage your reputation fast. Another one is not fighting refund requests in any way. When we started, I've got to be honest, with the Gold program, we started saying, no, well, you're outside the refund period. You signed up for a trial. You know, we offered you 30 days money back guarantee. It's 90 days later, you can't have it. Can anyone guess what might happen from those kind of interactions? We get chargebacks, which real problem. We get reputation management issues. And it takes negative energy from me and my team. So what we do now is just have a completely no-quibble refund, where I don't even want to know about it, we just refund it. And our refunds went up. We developed automated strategies to manage the refunds, where we offer people product credit. So if someone tries to refund $97, we say, well, hang on. First of all, would you like 5 times that value in product? So would you like a $500 product instead? But other than that, if people want a refund, they get a refund. Made their life a lot easier, and it made it a lot easier to continue to sell. Because just going off on a tangent, I've got to give you a little personal story from myself, just because it's kind of related. Me and James, we're working together on the Gold program. We're doing some good stuff together. And I stopped promoting it. The business hit about $100,000 a month, and I stopped recruiting affiliates. I stopped driving traffic organically. I stopped talking about it in my videos. Do you know the reason? The reason was the volume of complaints wasn't massively high, but I was focusing on them. And I was focusing on all the negativity. And I think subconsciously, deep down, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to promote this because promoting this leads to all of this pain. Does that make sense? Do you kind of buy that? Deep down? So you really need to have strategies to kind of deal with that. Okay, what I want to do now is with Mark up on the flip chart. Mark, what I want to do now with Mark up on the flip chart is I want to just give you an overview of our funnel so you have an understanding of how a continuity funnel will work. And that's really going to inform our thinking for the next 7 steps. So by the end of this session, I really want you to understand why continuity is important, why it can dramatically increase your business. I want you to understand that the Visa, MasterCard recent changes shouldn't affect you as long as you're being ethical and honest. You should be doing anyway. And I want you to really understand our funnel.
Reveal your guys, let go all lies. Recognize the truth that resides inside. People try to hide what they truly feel. Keep it real, rude boy, ain't a big deal. Take some skill to be yourself, but you benefit from improving your health. No more stress in the fake contest. Your soul will finally feel like rest. No need to please anyone. The time to live has just begun. Dreams come true as long as you got what it takes to live through. Freedom is the state of mind. Don't get left behind. It's time, go ahead. Live our stories from your crazy head. When I'm feeling low, need a boost, all I do is listen to Coupe Jazzy. Sing away to Coupe Jazzy. Life is what it seems to be, cause you happen to believe you design your destiny. Now come and jam with me. Classic shit, jazzy shit, makes you wanna fly with it. Touch the sky a couple times, won't come back down till it's time.